सूरत में किसकी गवर्नमेंट है आपको मालूम है। फिर उसके बाद वहां से हटाए गुवाहाटी को लेके गए। तो इससे ही आप समझिए कि ये बीजेपी सरकार का, बीजेपी का खेल है। वो तोड़ मोड़ के इस वहां के सरकार को निकालना चाहती है। महा विकास आघाड़ी एक मजबूत सरकार है और मजबूती के साथ वो चल रही है, लेकिन उसको अस्थिर करने के लिए बीजेपी हर तरह की कोशिश कर रही है। ऐसा नहीं होता कि एक दो दिन में ही इतने लोगों को सूरत को ले जाना, वहां से फिर गुवाहाटी को ले जाना, फिर बुलाना, ये सारी चीजें जो हो रहे हैं इसमें बीजेपी का खेल है। और बीजेपी ये चाहती है कि इस देश में नॉन बीजेपी कोई भी गवर्नमेंट अस्तित्व में न रहे, ये उनका इरादा है। इसीलिए वो ये पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और दूसरा प्रश्न भी ये है कि अब प्रेसिडेंट चुनाव भी होने जा रहे हैं और उनको नंबर की भी जरूरत है। तो इसीलिए वो चाहते हैं कि प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन के अंदर ही वहां पर सरकार को गिराया जाए, ये उनका इरादा है। तो हम ये डायरेक्टली ये कह सकता हूं मैं कि इसको पूरा रिस्पॉन्सिबल सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट खुद और बीजेपी इसमें हस्तक्षेप करके वहाँ के स्टेबल गवर्नमेंट को डिस्टेबलाइज करके वहाँ पर अपना सत्ता लानी चाहती है। तो मैं ज़्यादा और कुछ नहीं कहना चाहता हूँ कि एक तो प्रेसिडेंट इलेक्शन के लिए उनको नंबर के लिए वहाँ पर डिस्टेबलाइज करना चाहते हैं। दूसरा, एक महाराष्ट्र का बहुत बड़ा राज्य है जहाँ पर शिवसेना, एनसीपी और कांग्रेस तीनों मिलके वहाँ पर अपना काम कर रहे थे। तो हम कांग्रेस पार्टी की ओर से ये कहना चाहते हैं कि हम तीनों मिलके रहेंगे, मिलके लड़ेंगे और महाआघाड़ी को मजबूत करेंगे। इसके लिए हमको जो कुछ भी हमारी सहायता हो सकती है वहाँ पर करने के लिए हम तैयार हैं। यही नाही, आता महाराष्ट्रात जे घडामोडी चाललेल्या आहेत त्याच्या पाठीमागे बीजेपीचा हात आहे। कारण बीजेपी जर तिथल्या स्थिर सरकारला अस्थिर करण्याची प्रयत्न अगर करत होती तर आज तिथले आमदार सूरतला गेले नसते किंवा सूरत पासून गुवाहाटीला गेले नसते। त्याला कोण जिम्मेदार आहे तर बीजेपीचे सेंट्रल गव्हर्नमेंट। आणि इथले तुम्हाला माहित आहे त्यांनी अनेक सरकारे पाडली। तुम्हाला माहित आहे उत्तराखंडची सरकार कशी गेली, कर्नाटकची सरकार कशी गेली, मध्य प्रदेशची सरकार कशी गेली, गोवाची सरकार कशी गेली, मणिपूरची सरकार कशी गेली। आणि आमचे अनेक इलेक्टेड गव्हर्नमेंट ज्या ठिकाणी मेजॉरिटी होती त्या ठिकाणी सर्व लोक मिळून त्याला पाडण्याचा प्रयत्न त्यांनी केला। आणि हेच खेळ इथं महाराष्ट्रात सुद्धा चाललेला आहे। म्हणून मला हे म्हणायचं आहे की याला साऱ्या ह्या घडामोडीला कुणीतरी जबाबदार आहे, तर ते भारतीय जनता पार्टीचे लोक त्यांची
Well, that is senior Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge. They're accusing the BJP of conspiring to topple the Maharashtra government. Ketan joins me live on this. Ketan, we clearly heard what Mallikarjun Kharge is saying. Also commenting on how this has been practiced by the BJP before, according to him, in Madhya Pradesh, Goa, Manipur, and now according to him, the BJP is applying the same tactics in Maharashtra as well to topple the government.
So yeah, Charlene, in a very ironical situation. Now, one saw that Mallikarjun Kharge, he's from North Karnataka and also speaks chaste Marathi. So in chaste Marathi, what he was trying to tell is that the same formula that BJP applied to Manipur, to governments in Goa, to Karnataka, whether they are elected governments or where they want to topple the opposition government, here also he left no stone unturned and directly attacked the BJP as responsible for the crisis in Maharashtra. And one has to see things in that perspective. What Sanjay Raut said, now many people are interpreting it as Shiv Sena trying to distance itself from the MVA camp. I personally don't think so. See, there is a difference between saying that or asking or urging the MLAs to say what they want to and accepting what they are saying. So what Sanjay Raut said a while ago is that if you want to distance yourself from MVA, or if you think that the Shiv Sena shouldn't be a MVA partner and join hands with the BJP, then you have to come to Mumbai and say this. One has to read between the lines. When he says the MLAs have to come to Mumbai, which means that they have to present themselves in front of the party workers and the party leadership. And he's also said that 20 MLAs are in touch with them. So basically both the sides right now are stating and are saying that all is well and things will come to a conclusion. So that's where things are playing. Right now I'm at Matoshri, and since morning there have been a lot of workers and different MPs, Shiv Sena leaders. We saw Subhash Desai, he went in. There is a lot of bandobast. You can see some Shiv Senics gathered there. But I feel that the party has made a conscious decision not to call a lot of workers near Uddhav Thackeray's residence. There are still talks going on. There is still a hope of convincing the MLAs to come back. So Uddhav Thackeray, I feel, currently doesn't want to do anything that will upset this party's effort in convincing the MLAs back. A while ago, I spoke to some staff who works very closely with him, and he says they told me that the CM is not meeting anyone. Of course, he's COVID positive, so he has kind of secluded himself in the room, and all the leaders are going and meeting whoever, if it's Aditya Thackeray or if there are other Sena leaders. They are just ensuring their presence at the residence of Matoshri and coming back. Charlene, as I see this unfolding, things are not over until they are over. Here is a cliche, and this cliche is playing itself out. Eknath Shinde, despite the tall claims that the BJP camp is making of 45-50 MLAs to escape the anti-defection law, they need the magic figure of 37 and 37 willing MLAs. And there is, of course, a scope of going to the court and so on and so forth. So right now I feel that both the sides are indulging in a lot of visuals, so to say,
right,
or they are indulging in displaying that everything is good on their side. But the game is far from over.
Right. Ketan, as you said, it is not over until it is over. Let's cut to the start. You know, if you could bring our viewers up to speed with what has happened. How did this flare-up intensify between Eknath Shinde and Uddhav Thackeray in the first place? Give our viewers a background of it, because, you know, in the last 2 days, we've been talking about the number game. We've been talking about who is the real Shiv Sena here. But how did it all come to this in the first place?
Well, frankly, Charlene, it's sort of a battle of bruised egos, because Eknath Shinde has been saying that Uddhav Thackeray as a leader was not accessible, whereas the Uddhav camp I spoke to is saying that 2 years were spent in Corona, and last 6 months Uddhav Thackeray was trying to recuperate from the illness that he was facing. So otherwise, accessibility is not such a huge problem. What Eknath Shinde camp is saying and asserting is that despite being an urban development minister, despite being such a senior leader, he was somewhere sidelined and he was not given the respect that was due to him. However, the Sena camp is not willing to believe this, and they are also not willing to believe that Eknath Shinde is such a strong or such a tall leader that he has support of 35 MLAs. They believe that this cannot happen without the backing of the third person, which is the BJP in this case. You speak to the common Sainiks on the road, and they feel really betrayed by their MLAs. They feel that this shouldn't have happened, and they are really aghast or surprised at the fact that it is the NCP, this so-called secular party, this the bête noires, as they say in French, the bête noires of late Bala Saheb Thackeray. He used to target Sharad Pawar in rallies, in meetings. The Congress and NCP, which were literally fodder for criticism for the Shiv Sena for decades together. It's these so-called past foes who have become friends are siding and expressing their steadfast resolve to be with Uddhav Thackeray and save this government. So it's really a pot boiler that is boiling, and every minute, every life that we speak to each other, Charlene, something new is happening.
Definitely, there are updates and changes on ground happening minute by minute. It's certainly testing times for the Maha Vikas Aghadi government. As you pointed out, right from the beginning, there have been, all three parties have been pulling in different directions. There have been rift between the Sena, Congress and NCP, but ultimately it is the rebellion that has begun within the Shiv Sena and not from the other two parties. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for getting us all those details.